discussion. Okay, let me know when you're recording. Today we have a very interesting discussion on writer's self-image. All of us have written something. From when we were born, composition, insha, if you went through 844 system in Kenya. And if you are currently in university, either undergraduate, postgraduate, postdoc, or a career researcher, if you're a scholar in an institution, or whether you work in the field, writing is a main form of communication in the digital age. So how come it is a lot of us struggle with self-doubt? We wonder whether we were born for it. Do you have that piece that you've always wanted to write and you keep saying, oh, one day I'll write a story about my life? I hear that a lot, by the way. That's because I work as a psychologist, and so I listen to people's stories a lot. So everybody wants to write their book, but what can we get out of the way so that we have just the writing? Today we have a very wonderful facilitator, Annabelle Gichure, who has done quite a phenomenal job, especially recently with the digital age. I think, Annabelle, you've defied all the laws of gravity in this digital confinement lockdown times with your programs. She's running 3 successful programs on empowerment that have to do with body image, self-image, self-esteem. It will be a very valuable session if you can note your questions at the chat box below. Also, please remember, this is highly interactive. All our sessions are meant for you to really address your own issues. So start reflecting on where you are at with this topic on writer's self-image. So, karibu sana, Annabelle. You may start.
Thank you, Joyce. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, loud and clear. We cannot see you, but that's all right.
Okay.
We will have your audio very loud and clear. Thank you. All
right, thank you. Yes, so I'm glad to be speaking about one of my best topics. I'm a psychologist and also a life coach, so we deal a lot with self-image and self-identity. And I would love to start with a quote. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. Most writers, we master what others want. We write about, like right now, if you're writing about love and relationships, you know what genre to pick because you've mastered what sells more than the other. So mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. And the worst enemy to creativity as a writer is self-doubt. So I would love to start with a question, and the one who answers it, or the one who attempts it, you get my birthday cake. So in life, as a writer, you deal with 3 different people in your life. The first person is the person you think you are. Who can tell me the other 2? I've already given you a clue. You deal with 3 people in your life as a writer. Who can tell me the rest? You're very lucky I've told you the first one. The first one is the person you think you are. Who can tell me the other 2?
Please unmute yourself and say the answer. People, do you even have Google is your friend? Try. Who will try? Javi, I see you're unmuted. Oh, you muted yourself again. Javi Sijenyi, can you try? Give us the answer.
I think you're also dealing with the current you.
The current you. Aha.
Mm-hmm.
Mutinda's hand is raised. Mutinda?
Yeah, I think It's who other people think you are. Yeah, I can't remember the other one. If that's right, anyway, I don't know whether I'm right.
Okay, that is congratulations to the both of you who attempted. You're actually right. The first person is the person you think you are. That is your self-image, what you're discussing today. The second person is the person people think you are. That is your self-reputation. And then the other one is the person you really are. That is your present, your fears. And that when it becomes authentic, it makes your identity. So as you're writing, you have to be authentic on the three: your reputation, your image, and your present, your fears. What are your fears? Most of us writers, we actually don't know what we fear. What are our fears in our different fields? We write, we go with the flow, which can lead to many of us not exploiting our full potential. So today we are dealing with the self. And as you explore through the self-image, we have the self-mastery. At the top, you have the self-mastery. As a writer, you have to be self-aware. Be self-aware of why are you writing? Who are you writing for? And what do you want to get out of your writing? Then you have to have exploration, self-exploration. Is that what you're passionate about? Are you writing about what you love? Are you sending out a message to other people for them to learn? Let me give an example. Like most, maybe you went through a tragedy or trauma, something traumatic. You can write a book, but maybe you've not healed. So in the process of writing, it brings healing. It brings temporary healing. But after writing the book, when you go through the coaching or the mentorship or the self-exploration, you can be able to seek help if you actually realize you've not healed. Then we have the self-transformation. Is your writing transforming you? And is it transforming others? Or is it transforming others and leaving you the same way? You're staying stagnant. If your writing is not transforming you, you're still the same, you're remaining stagnant, it shows there's a problem or there's a challenge somewhere. Then, and the top one is self-mastery. For you to write a fulfilling write-up that is perfect to you, and it brings out your passion, it brings out what you love. It shows you've mastered yourself, and that is actually self-mastery, which is very good in writing. So, David, we can go to the first slide. The next one, David. Sorry. David, we can go to the next slide. What is self-image? Yes, so what is self-image? Self-image is the personal view or mental picture that we have of ourselves. It's the internal dictionary that describes the characteristics of the self. So, and this collective characteristic, the representation of them, it makes you to master your strengths and your weaknesses. And so this is, as a writer, you could assess yourself, you could assess if actually you know what you're good at or what you're strong at, what you're weak at, through this The trap, you can write the trap, where the T is your talents. Do you actually know what you're good at, what you're passionate at, what field can you write in? Then the R, it's resources. What resource do I have? Do I have the books? Do I have the money for research? Do I have the education? The A is the abilities. What abilities have I learned over the years to enable me write in the field that I want to write in? Then what are my passions? What am I passionate about? Am I passionate about self-image? So I can write about self-image. Am I passionate about psychology? And if it's psychology, what area of psychology? Is it grief? Is it children? Yeah, so you can actually assess yourself with the trap, where the T is the talent, the R is the resources, the A is the abilities, then the P is the passion. David, we can go to the next slide. So we have the self-image versus the self-concept. As we started, I talked about the 3 persons. That is the self-image, the self-reputation, and your present self. So, so the self-image builds your whole self-concept. When the 3 people are authentic and they are positive, they are healthy, it means you have a positive self-concept. And as a writer, the more you grow as a writer, the better you become. So as you grow, make sure you're not losing yourself. You're growing and you're becoming a better you. And as you become a better you, you build your self-image. As I always say, you're supposed to build your head office as a writer. So build your cognition, build your head office through writing, through joining groups like Journal Club. I'm very sure we've learned a lot through the Journal Club. And through that, your self-concept, you have a healthy self-concept, where self-concept is a collection of beliefs of oneself. Who am I? If I was to ask you, who are you? You would not think for 10 minutes to tell me I am so and so. Yeah. David, we can go to the next slide. And as we're writing, I'm very sure we are writing broadly. If I could ask you, is your write-up transforming you? And if it is transforming you, could someone tell me how their writing is actually transforming them? All right, let me go to the next one. So these are 4 questions that you can actually assess if you're actually writing something that is you're passionate about it, and something that is bringing out the best of you. Because for you to have a healthy self-image, you have to have knowledge of who you are. You have to have knowledge of what you're good at. So the first question I would love everyone to ask themselves for you to create a healthy self-image: what makes you sing? What makes you sing about what you're writing? And singing here is happy. What makes you happy about what you're writing? Such that for your write-up, it's not a bother for you to write. Then what makes you sad? What made you sad? So that what problem are you solving through your write-up? What makes you dream about your writing? If I was to ask you, yes, you're writing a book, so tell me what will happen after you publish 5 years from when you publish the book. So what makes you dream about your writing? If your writing does not make you dream, it means there's a gap between you and what you're writing about. Then what makes you unique in your field of writing? Yes, you're writing. I could be writing about something of psychology in children. Someone else is also writing about the same. So what makes our writing unique, the both of us? So what makes you unique as an individual in your writing? And what makes you excel in your write-up? As you're writing, what will make you excel? What will transform you? And as you're writing, become an authority. Become an authority in yourself by mastering, and you can only become an authority by mastering yourself. So if you've not mastered yourself, and if you've noticed, I'm talking about the self, because the self, you are the best resource for what you're writing. So if you lose yourself, you lose your writing. And there's a quote by Cyril Connolly. He says that it is better to write for yourself and have no public than to write for the public and have no self. Let me repeat that. It is better to write for yourself and have no public than to write for the public and have no self. So you have no choice. You have to work on yourself as you write for the public, or you have to work on yourself as you write for the public. And always remember that private victory precedes public victory. Yeah, after writing, your write-up will transform many people's lives. But if it has not transformed you, it has to transform you first. So I want us, how can we build our self-image as writers? The first thing is stay connected. Stay connected with yourself. Stay connected with people in your field, in what you're writing in. As you said, you have to build your head office by reading, by interacting with people in your field. You have to make it intentional. Stay connected. Like, let me give an example with Journal Club. Journal Club has brought vast researchers together. You have to make that intentional choice to at least have a mentee or a mentor in Journal Club. Stay connected, stay in touch with yourself as you also stay in touch with others who are in line with what you're writing in, or in line with what you believe in through your writing. Then keep writing. Keep writing, be consistent, and don't give up. When you experience writer's block, which is very normal, do not stop. Take a pause and work out on the internal. Whatever you're dealing with internally, work on it. That is why it's very good to stay connected. When you experience that writer's block, your support system can help you in it. It can help you take that refresher time. It can help you take that pause as they help you maneuver through it. Then revive your passion. I don't know if most of you have experienced what I've experienced. I'm writing my first book, and it has taken 2 years but it got to a point where I stopped. And that is when I took the pause, and I actually evaluated what is it that I had when I was beginning to write, what has changed. That self-evaluation helps you to backtrack where you went wrong, and it helps you to restart. So also as a writer, you have to revive your passion. Go back to your motivation board and revisit what was the real reason for you writing. Why did you start to write? What were you determined about? What were you determined to produce? And through this process, you have to be honest with yourself. And also, that is why it's very good to have an accountability partner in writing, because writing is it's a lonely journey, and you need support. You need that accountability. And I love what we have the Shut Up and Write in the Journal Club. So you actually have like an accountability partner who you can write together, and after writing together, you share. That is very good when it comes to writing. And also as a writer, make sure that you maintain good mental health. As I said earlier, you are the best resource of your write-up. So make sure you take care of your mental health and your sound mind. So you can, as we said in the first slide, revive your passion. You can venture into, when you feel you're burnt out, you can venture into what do you love, something that can, it can keep you going as you refresh. You take a refresher. You just take a pause and like positive visualization, meditation. Some of us who are in music, you can venture into music, and as you take care of your mental health and your sound mind, you renew your creativity. So because it's also good to know that we are evolving. Pre-COVID, COVID season, and post-COVID, they are going to be very different. So you have to also be adaptable, be able to learn, be able also to unlearn. So it's very good to be present. And that was the third person in the 3 people we deal with. Be present with who you are, be present with what you're learning. So grow with the times. Don't let the times evolve and leave you behind. So be ready to evolve. And also as a writer, you have to read. You have to read. You have to build your head office. And by reading, I mean reading a book, yes, but also learn from others. Learn from your other networks, learn from your other connections. Aurelia did a very good thing to come up with Journal Club. This is an area where you can learn from other writers. And as you're inspired by other writers, also make sure you're inspiring someone. And as you're being mentored by others, also make sure you're mentoring someone else in writing. Because with that mentorship chain, it helps us to keep track of our self-image. You're able to know this is what I'm strong at, because there is going to be feedback. And when we create that chain of feedback, it helps us to better ourselves as we better others, which is what is needed. And also be patient with yourself. Writing is a journey, it's a process. You have to be patient with yourself. Understand what works for you. Take what works for you and leave what does not work for you. And if you can learn what does not work for you, the better for you. Take it a step at a time. And you have to take a self-appreciation break. As a writer, appreciative every day. You can write the most powerful words. I am great. My book will be great. Look for positive affirmations to affirm you, and also to affirm what you're striving towards. What do you want to produce? And spend time with supportive writers. Journal Club has the best opportunity for that. So when Aurelia calls for sessions, it's very good. Go and listen to what the presenter has to say. But at the end of that session, make sure at least you've learned from one person personally. You've gotten to know them better. You've gotten to learn something from them and keep the networks going. And say no to inner criticism, which is very normal. At some point, we have fears, but you can only overcome fear through hope. So build your hope by building your I am great, I am the best. Build your I am system. And what is the image you are carrying about yourself? That is a reflective question. What is the image you are carrying about yourself? Is it positive? Is it negative? And you can never know if your self-image is positive or negative if you've not evaluated yourself. So you need to actually have that self-evaluation. And when you notice either it's positive or negative, you can actually backtrack. Where did I go wrong, or what makes me have these fears? Is it my childhood experiences? Is it my journey? What have I gone through? Is it my presentation, my physical? Yeah, and you can actually seek help. At some point, people choose to go for counseling. At some point, people choose to have that accountability partner who they know can help them with being real. Because for you to build a positive self-image, you need an accountability partner who is very real to tell you, I have noticed this is what works against you. David, could we go to the 5th slide?
Fifth or 6th, sorry.
The 5th, no, the 6th. The next one. Please
mute yourself when you come in.
Yes, so we have, as I said earlier, as a writer, you have to build a positive self-image, and it's a process, and you have to be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself because as you write, the more you discover some things you never knew about yourself. And the more you write, the more you become better, because you have to intentionally refuse stagnation. You have to come out of your comfort zone and realize what actually makes me think I'm not good enough. Is it that I think I'm too big? You have to be real with yourself, have the honest conversation with yourself for you to start making the milestones towards being, towards having a healthy self-image. So a positive self-image is having a good view of yourself. And as I told you, the best thing about this that you can do practically starting from tonight, build your I am. I am who are, I am great, I am the best, I am courageous. Build your I am in your positivity, in your strengths, and you will see the magic that it does. So, and take a self-image inventory. It's good to make an inventory. Make a list of your positive qualities. I'm very sure most of us have diaries or small journals. Make a list of your what are your strengths, what are you good at, and fuel your strengths. Yes, we all have weaknesses. If it's a weakness that you can actually work on, start working on it, but maximize on your strengths. And I always say that greatness in writing requires great patience, great sacrifice, and strategy. So as you write, have a strategy. It's called strategic writing. Be patient with yourself as times evolve. Let me give you an example. After COVID-19, the people who master the post-COVID-19, the people who are able to adapt and are able to grow very fast and to unlearn and learn things very fast. So be adaptable. And remember, yesterday is not ours to recover. So whatever happened, after taking the self-image inventory, and you actually realize my self-image is positive or negative, yesterday is not ours to recover, but tomorrow is ours to win. So start making the milestones. You can get an accountability partner. You can seek help from professionals such as Joyce, counselors, psychologists, and excel in being you. And as you excel in being you, excel in your writing. But do not excel in your writing and lose you. Do not do that. And as you overcome the COVID-19 season, measure yourself in your strengths if you want to master your writing, and not in pounds. So, and as I wind up, all writing is an act of self-exploration. So explore who are you? And through the self-exploration, make sure you're having the inner conversation with yourself, build your I am, and keep working on yourself, keep writing, and just make it happen. Just make it happen. Writing is all about self-editing. It's all about being present and being aware of what is happening. So be patient with yourself and make it happen. Work on yourself. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing presentation. So viewers who are on video, let's clap the sign language style like this. Clap for Annabelle. Those of us who can see me, all right? Even if I cannot see you, even if your video is not on. Thank you so much, Annabelle, for this presentation. I remember very well that this presentation was to happen in October, and now that you've done it in person, it's just a testament of your fortitude and perseverance and not giving up. One thing that I've captured from what you've said is actually a quote I read from the TED book when you talked about the idea. Well, I can't really remember, but there was a quote you mentioned that's actually a famous quote in the book about telling a story as a clear idea. And this is where it all starts. It starts with the self, okay? So that was really useful. Please, members, I'd like us now to talk about our comments, our questions about this presentation. How does this presentation relate to you? Every one of us can get a chance to speak because we have 20 minutes and we are 20 people. So if we all spoke for 1 minute, it would work. So if you'll allow me, I'll have you I don't want to call on you. I'll have you just unmute yourself and say, how does this presentation gel with you? And meanwhile, our presenter will be reading the comments in the chat forum. Who would like to start? Judy Twala, you'd like to say something?
Hi, Wangari. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm really excited with the presentation, talking about self-image.
Right.
And maybe as helpers, sometimes, we really want to give our all.
Yeah.
Or we actually give our all, but you deep within yourself, you know that however much you're trying, like very little is happening.
Yes.
Yes, so I think we need to be self-aware of that, and every time we compliment ourselves that at least we did something, we tried out something,
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't feel frustrated and feel like you're not making a lot of impact.
Right.
So I think that's self-awareness and self-compliments is very important.
So for you, you got that being your best friend as you compose something is very key.
It is very key.
Yeah, I think this is really useful because of self-compassion as well. I think we beat ourselves up so much. Sure. Some people think journal club ni I'm a professor, this group of ours, journal club, Actually, it's for everyone,
yes. Sure.
Yeah, so I see that, what you're saying, being kind and compassionate. Does anybody else relate with that? Yes, Jane? Yeah. Please give your comment. Please unmute yourself, Jane. Thomas, you can give us your comments. Who else is unmuted? Macrine. Hi, Macrine. I see you're unmuted. Somebody is talking there. Where you are.
Sorry, let me mute this. There's
no. I just wanted to hear. We are now in the discussion Q&A. We are relating with how has writer's self-image been for you? What do you deal with, when you have issues with, just coming up with the writing? How do you deal with the self, you, the writer?
Me, nataka kusikia, you have just arrived.
Okay, karibu. All right, let's hear from the rest. Who else would like to comment?
Hi, Wangari.
Hi, Dr. Kamina, karibu.
How are you? I've really enjoyed myself hearing and making a very powerful presentation. I'm very excited, and she really portrayed a very good passion for the self. And I really like the part where she's saying that you have to develop the strength in you, so that you are not very much judging self so harshly, but you go step by step using your strength. And also, I like the other point, number 2, working with other people. And I gathered a lot of gaining confidence within self. Yes. That's what I can take home, and I'm very happy about my mentee over there.
For sure. She's done a phenomenal job as always. You know, one thing you've said, Dr. Mary Kamina, that's really caught my eye is about working with others. You know, it's a fallacy that success comes you yourself alone. You know, they say there's always a team of people, you know.
Yes.
So it's we can get a space where we review each other's writing, you know. You can even ask a friend, Ebu Angalia too, how I've written and tell me how it looks, you know. So I really like that point there that you've made.
And can I also add that in editing and listening to what is being said, it's never 100% correct until somebody else is gaining, because you as the author, you do not know what people perceive from what you are writing until they tell you. So positive critique does not mean tearing a person off. It's just that I want to tell you what I understand by what you have written or what you are writing.
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense to the world until the world now makes the sense out of it and communicates back, so that the circuit for communication is complete.
Right. I'm also your mentee. I know you've taught me. You've taught me very well that it's how the message lands. You know, is very crucial.
Yes.
Yeah, and also giving criticism very positively. There's a difference between insulting and criticizing and giving a critique that is, you know, packaged well. So thank you so much.
Thank
you. Okay. Somebody else? These are very good comments so far. I see we all relate with this topic on writer self-image. Jane Thomas, do you want to say something, or you also just came in like unmute yourself? I can see you talking and you're muted. Press unmute on the microphone. Yes, Karibu.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, allow me not to comment for today because I've just joined in.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like and I'm enjoying the chat so far.
Wonderful. Let's hear from some gentlemen now. I can see Kenneth, Lenny. Say something. Harvey, who would like to speak? You need some gender balance. All right, Jane, you can unmute. You can mute yourself. Fancy. All right. Dennis, would you like to say something?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm sorry I joined late, but I was able to capture a number of things that really excited me. I think most of the times we really talk ill about ourselves, especially when we compare ourselves with the most accomplished, maybe in other fields that we may be pursuing. And as Anne was speaking, I really got very important points here that we need to really focus on our strengths, try to build those weaknesses, but maximize more on our strength. I believe that each and every one of us, we have areas that we are better. And if we can really focus on those, we can be able to limit some of those flaws that sometimes prevent us and hinder us from actually moving forward. So I really got that, and it really excited me that I really need just to work on myself and continue appreciating those baby steps that maybe I could be making towards what I'm pursuing. Yes.
Yeah, I really like that idea of little steps, because those small successes are what you build now to create the full product of your writing. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Good evening. This is Aurelia.
Oh, Karibu, Aurelia.
Thank you. Thank you for a good presentation, Annabelle. I wanted to add that for me, when I started scholarly writing, it was very exposed to a lot of writing. The writing we do is really just in the exam room, and it's just basically repeating the notes. So when you're exposed in a place where you have to really do a lot of writing, it can be very intimidating. And the most difficult thing for me, and I think it ties to what Annabelle said, was unlearning bad habits of writing and how I perceive myself. So I had to unlearn so many things. I had to unlearn how to read better. I had to start learning how to read better, how to read with a critical mind so that I can be able to write good papers. I had to unlearn negative self-talk, because the first time I wrote something and I sent to a mentor, it came back with red marks, and I was so depressed. And she said that it looks like I'm translating mother tongue. I'm speaking mother tongue, but I'm speaking English. And I felt so much shame. But learn better how to see that I'm in a journey. And I think over time, relearning good habits takes a while. And I just like that reminder that Annabelle has given us, that we can unlearn and we can still relearn good habits and become better by the day.
Wonderful. Yeah, that is a very familiar feeling. The red marks on the paper. Who has never encountered that? If you have never, please raise up your hand now. So thank you. I think we all relate with that. Yeah. Yes, administrator. I can see you raising your hand manually. Please proceed. Yes, you can talk.
Joy.
Yes.
Can I talk?
Yes, please proceed.
Can I?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, what you already have said. I went through a very bad experience when I was doing my write-up. One of my supervisors just drew a very big line on my paper. So I had to hide that one in case my daughter sees that. And so that gave me a very, through my childhood, it made me feel like I'm not good at writing. And so, like what Anna has said, I had to work on myself. And so I had to unlearn actually the behavior of unbelieving myself. I had to start believing in myself, and then I had good mentors who always say that I'm doing well. I had to build it up. But when you're starting writing, sometimes some people can put you down. So it is you to have that self-awareness and know that you can do it better. Especially when you are in the journey of writing again, I realized when I talked to many people, I realized that it emanated from the shame and doubt when we are in childhood. When you interact with the environment, then it magnifies the whole problem. So it is very important, as what Anne said, that you explore your soul search of what is making you feel like you can't do it better, what is affecting your self-esteem, and work on that. So most of the self-esteem issues is about issues, and the undealt issues make you even not to write, even to adopt, even to start thinking like I'm not better. So the first thing is just to you go down and explore what is making you not to feel like you can do it like other people the way they are doing it. So I can say like today's presentation was very important, especially use a lot of defense mechanisms, which is a sign of self-image which is affected. Yes. So what I can finish with is like, call yourself, look the parts which are fragmented, put yourself as a whole and start off the journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stella Osoro. Thank you for those wonderful comments. I see there's a clap there for you from Jane Thomas. Yeah, we are getting better every day. We are learning even how to clap on WhatsApp. I mean on Zoom. So I see there are two questions here for Annabelle. So Annabelle, have you managed to read the questions on the chat?
Let me read.
Yeah, there's one. Jamel Edung says that his current challenge is cultural sensitivity and biasness. So if Jamel, you are able to explain that, please proceed. Jamel? I don't know if he's still on. I cannot see him on the call. So that was one question. Cultural sensitivity and biasness, how to deal with that in writing. And then there is Mutinda asks a question about, this is research, how do you deal with supervisors who want you to write what they want, not what you want? Annabelle indicated that we should write what we are passionate about. So that's the other question from Mutinda. Yeah, and there's a comment here. Thank you, Aurelia. Knowing how good you are at writing today, coupled with the information you just shared, goes to show that with intentional steps and hard work, day by day, one can get there. Oh, thank you so much for that comment. Judy Twala, thank you for the comment. All right, so Annabelle, those are the two questions so far, from Jamal about culture and from Mutinda about supervisors.
Yeah, has Dr. Kamina left?
Let me see if she's still there.
She's one of the supervisors. This is her perfect chance.
Yes, I see she's not on the call now. I know there are so many calls going on. Yeah, she's not on the call. Yeah, so it's okay. You can comment. It's being recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have about 4 minutes, so that will work.
Yeah, so let me start with the supervisor question. So what I've experienced, let me start with what I've experienced. There was a time I was writing a paper that my supervisor actually chose the topic, but I actually struggled to write that paper. So what I took it upon me, because she's the one who's marking my paper, to have this conversation. I'm finding it hard. I can't cope with your topic. Can we revise this topic to what I am passionate about, but in line with what you want? So to answer the question, let me go back to the question. How do you deal with the supervisors who want you to write what they want and not what you want? Personally, what I would advise Mutinda is maybe you'd have this conversation with your supervisor, but what I would advise you is write what you're passionate about. Have an honest, as I said earlier, make intentional, honest conversations with the supervisor. I'm very sure from the conversation, you'll come up with maybe the theme that he wants, but you'll work on something you're passionate about. But no matter what happens, write what you're passionate about.
All right, thank you.
The second question.
The second one was from Jamel Edung.
I would love the person to explain more of what they mean about this cultural sensitivity and biasness.
Unfortunately, I don't think Jamel Edung is still here, but I would say most writers don't recognize there's actually an etiquette in respecting, different cultures. And how do you write while keeping it real? A joke that you can say in northern Kenya is not a joke you can say in coast, for instance. In Kenya, where we're very polarized with our ethnicities and culture and things like that. So how do you write in a way that's culturally sensitive and not biased? Oh, Annabelle, you're muted. Please unmute yourself. Annabelle? She's muted, unfortunately. Let me tell her to unmute herself. So members, what do you think? To answer Jamal, anybody can respond. Some people have not spoken at all. Please say something. How would you, as a writer, ensure cultural sensitivity and avoid biasness?
If I can say something, is just being objective on your writer. Being objective will make you sensitive. And that will mean, like, you look at, you're talking something from a general view, not impersonating somebody or putting it. I think that is the best I can say. Again, just to add on what Anne said about Tinda's question, that calls again for self-image, self-aware, believing in self. That is how you can deal with a supervisor who is maybe bringing in some issues on how you're writing or wants you to write the way it is to be written. So it is about self-awareness, which will make you again, and self-belief, which will make you again put your foot forward and say, like, explain more, communicate, and make him understand what you want to write. Because if you get somebody to take you back again, that means you'll not do what you really wanted in with your heart.
Yeah, I love that. Yep. All right. Annabelle?
Yes.
Yes. So I don't know if you have any closing remarks. I don't know if anybody has anything to say as we finish.
Just allow me to ask one question.
Sure, Harvey, karibu.
I'm not so sure as writers where our presentation or the content that we write will land. So in that scenario, what are you supposed to do? Because information is, as they say, knowledge is power. So somebody might be interested. You've written something, but you never knew that it will go to Garissa. The language that you've used, it might be vulgar to the Garissa people. So how do you cover that situation?
Annabelle?
Yes. Okay. Joyce, could you repeat the question?
Okay, Harvey, you could ask the question again.
Okay, probably as writers, we write content to inform others of what we know or what we think they might not be aware of. So you might have written something just for a specific, a metropolitan area, but at the end of everything, you find it has landed to Garissa people. The language you might have used might be vulgar to those people. So in that scenario, what should you do? Because you will not limit somebody not to take your content across all those areas.
Okay. You said what we know or what we think, or what we think of.
Yeah, yes.
You said
yeah,
what we know or what we think of.
Whatever you are writing is just to pass knowledge from your end to another person's end. So what you learn, yeah, that's the question.
So so you're writing, let's say for example, Garissa has more Muslims. So whatever you're writing does not work for Muslims.
Exactly.
All right. And when you're writing, you have that in mind. Are you writing for Muslims?
You didn't write, I'm saying you just wrote it for a small geographical area, but at the end of everything, you find that that information has landed to a not intended area. So for you to be, not to be biased, or for you not to use language that on that end it will be vulgar, what do you do?
Okay. Personally, what I would advise you is, I think it's the same with the cultural question that we were tackling before. Cultural sensitivity is like, I've made it intentional to learn all the religions. I'm actually doing religious studies in university, Buddhism, Muslim, because I noticed I wrote a paper and there was that gap. So as a person, you could also, as we've said, you can unlearn and learn what you can learn. Learn what, the paper that you're writing, make it intentional to learn the beliefs of the congregation you're writing for, and also be objective in your writing, because you cannot control how people perceive your writing. The way I'll perceive your writing and the way someone else is going to perceive your writing, you can't control that. That is beyond your control. But do your best in your writing by learning what works for each of the congregation that you're writing for. That is the best you can do. But according to how the other people are going to perceive it, I think that is beyond your control. But make an intentional choice. If it goes to Garissa, I have this bit for them. You know what works for them. If it goes to a Buddhist, to a Hindu, this works for them. So you can work around that. But how people are going to perceive it, that is beyond you.
Just to add on what Annabelle said, I think that calls for ethical issues in writing. And when it calls for ethical issues, you have to be very protective of the language you're using. You have to be very sensitive on what you're writing. And again, from a psychological perspective, writing communicates also who you are. Using a vulgar language to communicate what is happening in coast, then what does it mean? Because there's a message, there's a good way I can pass a message in what is happening in coast. But if I'm using a vulgar language, it mostly speaks of who I am. What is it? Is it a displacement? Is it something what I'm trying to pour out using the coast people? So at times you can write something and it backfires on you, like, what is this person? What is going on with this person? Largely, I can say that it is about ethical issues. And when you are writing, you have to write things which are sensitive and care about the audience about it. And also take care of what the content in what you are writing. And as I said earlier, these are issues when you are using a vulgar language to write on coast people. So those are the issues which you need to look at. When you are writing, always be sensitive, be responsible to be published and people will read about it. Be open on what you are communicating and how are you communicating. And finally, be also objective on what you are writing. Thank you.
What you just said, Stella, reminded me of Ezekiel Mutua and how he's always reining in on singers and songwriters who are using dirty lyrics, things like that. It's a big controversy among the creatives. They feel they should be left free, to write as creatively as they can. But you are right. There are ethics that govern you know, our audiences. What do you want to leave them? Do you want to leave them feeling touched, moved, inspired? You know, that's where we should be heading. So thank you so much for that comment. Annabelle, I see that our time has moved and our topic is getting interesting as we go along. So do you have any closing remarks?
Yes. Thank you very much for having me for this topic, and also thank you for the participants. And what I would love to leave with each one of you is become an authority in your field by mastering yourself. You can only become an authority if you master yourself. If you lose yourself, you also lose your writing. Thank you.
Let me take this opportunity to welcome any of you who is not yet a member of Journal Club to join our group. We have a WhatsApp group where we share information freely regarding academic writing, and you're so welcome to join and grow together with us. It's a lifelong journey. We are in it together. Aurelia, do you have anything to say before we close? Aurelia?
I'll just thank everyone for coming, and just to say that this is a journey that we all are. You never arrive. You only become better by the day. And I also emphasize that let's work together. I think the journey of writing, the journey of research is a collaborative journey. So let's work together and don't be shy. There are no hierarchies. Hierarchies have been a lot in academia, and sometimes we want to there are those who know, there are those who don't know. But we are all learning together, getting better by the day. So thank you for coming. Thank you, Annabelle, for using this platform to share your ideas. Thank you, Dave, for always organizing the Study Smart. It's really been great to really care about the mental well-being of researchers. And have a lovely evening and a good weekend.
Same to you, Aurelia.
Thank you so much, Aurelia. We might have a session in 2 weeks' time for any members in case the group would like to talk more on this writer self-image. Okay, thank you all. Goodbye. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right, it's a wrap.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye. Bye.